Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. This is your Pakistan Studies instructor Hina. Hope you all are good. Today we are going to start chapter 7, that is Languages of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Languages as vehicle of cultural integration and human relationship. First of all, we'll discuss what is integration. The act or process of making whole or entire. So without a common language, no nation can be binded together. Culture is identified as the sum total of the higher achievements of group life or the human products made by a particular group of people living in a specific area at a particular period of time. You must have heard about Muslim culture, Hindu culture. There are characteristics which differentiates them. Now, what is the paramount importance of language? Language is the only medium through which people can express their feelings, emotions, and aspirations and preserve their cultural heritage for their future generations. All knowledge is acquired and imparted through the medium of language, and the language spoken in society bears very strong imprint of the body of knowledge it comes in contact with. Of course, without a common language, you cannot form opinion of people, you cannot pursue for a certain goal, you cannot get united. Okay, then we'll talk about Allama Iqbal's views. Allama Iqbal said he called history the memory of a nation, and the memory cannot be recorded without the use of language. Physical and social sciences affect the character of language, and the language in turn affects the academic life of the society. So the language has to be vast, its vocabulary has to be vast, so the physical and social sciences can be translated or can be written in the particular language. The languages of the vibrant and civilized societies are rich in academic tradition and vice versa in the uncivilized societies. So a common language will promote literacy, it will promote development, it will flourish the society. Urdu is a product of the centuries of cultural interaction between the Hindu and the Muslim communities of India. And why are they saying this? Because traders from different parts of the world like Portuguese, English, French, Dutch have been living together in the subcontinent, and afterwards Turkish, Arabic traders had joined them. So Urdu is called a group language, like it's a combination of different languages, and was identified to be the symbol of Hindu-Muslim unity. But on a particular juncture of history, the Hindus totally alienated themselves from it. When the Mughal period was about to over, when the subcontinent had witnessed the demise of the Mughal dynasty, at that time, back in 1867, there arose a controversy named as Urdu-Hindi controversy, and through it Muslims could know the views of the Hindus that they want to promote Hindi as their official language. With this, cracks started appearing in the body of the magnificent Indian culture built on the basis of Hindu-Muslim unity. In this way, the process that started with meager linguistic differences ended up in a total separation of the two nations. Now, national language of Pakistan. Quaid-e-Azam had always insisted on a single language, and he said that only Urdu can be our national language. Why? Like I said before, that it promotes bonding, it promotes unity, it shows a common aim. Since Urdu had become a major issue in the Indian Muslim struggle for national identity, it was natural that independence proved a blessing for the future of Urdu, because it had flourished, it had developed after independence. Literature was being, you can say, produced, translated in this language, published in this language, records were maintained. Quaid-e-Azam Rahmatullah had made it clear in very early days after independence that only Urdu is going to be the state language of Pakistan. Why only Urdu should be the national language of Pakistan? It has certain features, close resemblance with regional languages. Urdu is a lingua franca. Lingua franca means that it's spoken and it's understood in all parts of Pakistan. Symbol of national unity, vast and beautiful language. Like it has flexibility. like it has absorbed, assimilated words from the different languages. Close affinity with other languages of the Muslim world. Like I said before, Turkish, Persian, Arabic words are part of Urdu language. Has got potential of being developed into a perfect language of science and technology as well as the language of official life. If you remember, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan had established a scientific society and its task was to translate all the literary work into Urdu for the people of the subcontinent to comprehend, to understand, to get themselves literate, to get themselves enlightened. Close relationship of Pakistan and Urdu means that, like we say, Pakistan का मतलब क्या? La ilaha illallah. So, for acquiring Pakistan, we needed unity, we needed closer relationship, and only Urdu could do this. And to keep Pakistan, you can say, united, to keep Pakistan stable, we still need one language. Brief history. History is a game of assumptions. Like there are no facts and figures in history, there are only opinions. How and when Urdu took shape as a distinct language? Is Urdu a developed form of any of the subcontinent's old languages? If yes, which language can be identified as Urdu's mother? Like some of the researchers and scholars, I will mention a name here, say Salman Nadwi. He said it's a developed form of Sindhi. Hafiz Mahmud Sharani traced his origin to Punjabi. Dr. Nasiruddin Hashmi said South India was the first homeland of Urdu. Maulana Muhammad Hussain Azad traced his origin to Persian. And other linguists believe that the Brij Bhasha spoken in the areas which are on the periphery of Delhi gave birth to Urdu, or you can say suburbs of Delhi. It is difficult for us to accept any of these opinions as final. All of these have their strengths and weaknesses because they are not backed by evidences. So we cannot take any opinion as final. Most probably Urdu did not emanate from a single source. More or less all these and possibly many other factors played a role in its formation. Gradual formation it had. Formative phase. Origin of Urdu language can be traced to the advent of Islam in the subcontinent. In 16th and 18th centuries, British, French and Portuguese settlers and traders enriched the local languages. Local dialects of the Punjab, dialect means lehje. Sindh and Deccan contributed richly to the formation of Urdu. They are talking about Hyderabad, Deccan. Muslim preachers in South India. Preachers means who promote religion, who spread the religions. The reformers, the Sufis, the holy people. Muhammad Ali Qutb Shah, this is 1581 to 1611, is the author of the first published work of poetry, Diwan, in Urdu. Wali Dakani is generally held as the first modern Urdu poet. Mullah Wajid Sabras, and it was a translation of a Persian book, language of the religious literature. Why are they saying so? Because Shah Ismail Shahid, his Taqwatul Iman, and Shah Abdul Qadir and Shah Rafiuddin's translation of the Holy Quran are the excellent pieces of fluent and easy to understand Urdu language. Then we'll talk about Fort William College. As you know that in the 18th century, British had established their control over the subcontinent. So Fort William College, Calcutta was established by the British rulers in the year 1800, basically for the fulfillment of their colonial needs. The college hired the services of the renowned Urdu writers to write books in simple standard Urdu. These books were taught to the British officers and played an important role in the enrichment of the Urdu literature because they wanted to know their culture, they wanted to know that what was going on in the society, so they wanted to learn the Urdu language. Then in the midst of the 19th century, Mirza Asadullah Khan Ghalib introduced a new trend in Urdu prose through a simple and forthright style and expression. You must have gone through some of his poems, and he was the last Mughal ruler who had died in exile. In the later half of the 19th century, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan and his companions made scrupulous means endless efforts, to enrich this tradition. In the same period, Shibli Nomani made valuable additions to the Urdu literature. In the 20th century, religious scholars like Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi, and Maulana Abul Ala Maududi produced rich religious literature in Urdu and introduced new trends in prose writing. Poets like Iqbal, Hali and Akbar composed excellent purposeful poetry and used their pen for national regeneration. Like mostly topics of their poetry were Khudi, self and nation, Qawm and Qawmiyat. At the end of 18th century, Urdu had taken the place of Persian as a language of Muslim culture in India. In 1837, Urdu was for the first time recognized as a language of civil courts of the British government. In states like Hyderabad, Deccan, Urdu was adopted as official and the court language. Urdu was for the first time adopted as a medium of instruction for higher level of education by a modern university established at Hyderabad in the year 1920. Since Urdu had emerged as a symbol of the Muslim nationhood in the subcontinent during the days of the Muslim struggle for freedom, with the creation of Pakistan, a golden era in the history of Urdu started. Assured means started. In very early days after independence, Quaid-e-Azam said in unequivocal terms, but let me make it very clear to you that the state language of Pakistan is going to be Urdu and no other language. Anyone who tries to mislead you is really the enemy of Pakistan. Without one state language, no nation can remain tied up solidly together and function. And this separated Muslims from the Hindus. Then students will come to our regional languages, and regional languages, Punjabi comes at first because Punjabi is spoken by majority of people in Pakistan, since Punjab is the most populous province. Punjabi is an ancient language spoken in the most populous province of Pakistan. We do not exactly know how and where this language came into being. Many experts trace its origin to the ancient Dravidians of Harappa civilization 2500 BC, others related with the period of Mahmud of Ghazna, which is approximately 1000 AD. Generally, Baba Fariduddin Ganshakar is known to be the first Punjabi poet. Like I said before, history is a game of assumption. Nothing is sure in history. So, some of them trace it to the ancient Dravidians, others related with the period of Mahmud of Ghazna. Then we talk about its themes. Punjabi poets and prose writers have written on a variety of themes: love, fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence, folk tales and epics. Epic poems are about your victories, about the conquests, in which heroes are appreciated, they are praised. Traditional Punjabi poets express themselves through the medium of nazm, are the forms closely identical to it. These are Kafi, War, Tappa, Dhola, Doha, Sati and Gori. Ghazal Ode was introduced at a comparatively later stage, probably under Urdu influence. Tradition of writing epic poetry and songs of national love and pride is very rich in Punjabi literature. It was only in the first half of the 20th century that short story, drama, novel and criticism was for the first time introduced in the Punjabi prose. Punjabi literature therefore has not only a very rich collection of these forms. Radio, television and film also played very important role in the development of Punjabi drama and story writing. Okay, we'll talk about names and dialects. The name Punjabi was for the first time used by the author of the book Miftah-ul-Fiqh, written in the first half of the 17th century. Before that, it was referred to as Multani, Lahori, Jatki, Hindi, etc. Al-Biruni called it Al-Hindia. So it was firstly used by the author of the book, Miftah al-Fiqh, in the first half of the 17th century. People in different areas like to call their Punjabi dialect by different names like Saraiki, Hindko, Chachi, Hitari, Potohari, Dhani, Shapuri, and Majhi, etc. Among these, Saraiki enjoys a special position due to its delicate, pleasant, discreet accent and the enormous number of users. You can say a reasonable majority, or you can say there is a huge number of people who speak Saraiki language in the province of Punjab, and that is why you must be knowing that there is always voice raised by the people of the Punjab province that we want to have a separate province that will be based on the Saraiki people, or that will be only for the Saraiki people. Appreciating its importance, Bahauddin Zakaria University Multan has established a Saraiki Research Center, and Islamia University Bahawalpur is catering master's classes in the language, the Saraiki language. Postgraduate degrees being offered. Literary assets: Sufi saints like Madhu Lal Hussain, Sultan Bahu, Bulle Shah, Hafiz Barkhudar, Fazl Shah, Hashim Shah, Qadir Yar, Waris Shah, Khwaja Farid, and Mian Muhammad Baksh are the most prominent among the endless list of the Punjabi poets. History of prose writing in Punjabi is not very long. All ancient fables were composed in verse. Most prominent among these are Heer Ranja, Waris Shah, Sassi Punnu, Hashim Shah, Soni Maiwal, Fazl Shah, Mirza Sahiban, Hafiz Barkhudar. Overall, it's liked by all the people in Pakistan and across the world. Also, those who can understand, in India is understood, and people throughout the world have somehow, like a limited percentage, a limited number, but they have a know-how of Punjabi, because films are being made, songs are being made, so they have some sort of familiarity with this language and liking for this language. It's a rich language, and Punjabi culture is a rich culture, right? Then we'll come to the second populous province of Pakistan, that is Sindhi. Script is Professor Max Miller is of the opinion that Sindhi was born even before Sanskrit, which is generally held to be the most ancient Indian language. He expressed this opinion in his famous book Biography of Words. He says that the people living on both sides of the river Indus as early as BC 2000 spoke Sindhi. Relics, leftover things that have been found at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro reveal that the people of the old Indus civilization Valley civilization knew the art of writing, and from this we infer that old Sindhi did have a script, but we do not know for sure what it really was like. Sindhi script now in use was devised by Abul Hasan Sindhi on the basis of Arabic letters. ठीक है, कहते हैं संस्कृत से भी पुरानी लैंग्वेज है, क्योंकि जो आप कह सकते हैं मिले हैं, डेब्रिस मिली है, रेलिक्स मिले हैं, या जो रिमेन्स है ऑफ इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन एट हड़प्पा एंड मोहनजोदड़ो, तो उससे हमें पता चलता है कि उनका स्क्रिप्ट था, वो लिखते थे. दे नो द आर्ट ऑफ राइटिंग. लिटरेरी एसेट्स: Sindhi is first language in South Asia that Holy Quran was translated into. Chachnama is one of the immortal works of the Sindhi literature. Period between 1050 and 1350 AD is marked with the prolific production of religious literature in Sindhi language. Preachers of the Ismaili sect played an important role in the progress of Sindhi literature. Ginan, Baid, Sorte, and Gatha are the forms they introduced. Shah Abdul Latif Bhitai, 1689 to 1752, is admittedly the greatest poet Sindhi has so far produced. His book Shah Jo Risalu is a masterpiece in Sindhi literature. His poetry is known for eloquence and simplicity, plus flow and rhythm. Dignity of labor and the higher values of life are his favorite themes. Slavery एक इंस्टीट्यूट, रूरल एरियाज में बहुत ज़्यादा, तो इन पोइट्स ने ह्यूमन राइट्स की बात की. through their poetry, through this style of writing. He immortalized the um, he immortalized the old Sindhi fables with the force of his pen. Sachal Sarma is another great Sindhi poet who composed in almost the same age. In his 900,000 couplets, he used many other languages side by side with Sindhi. These were Hindi, Urdu, Saraiki, Punjabi, and Persian. Like he used to do poetry in all these languages. Wahdatul Wujud, pantheism, is the most favorite of his themes. ठीक है, वादतुल वजूद, वादतुल शहूद, दो कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं. Believe in one God, believing in many gods. Makhdoom Muhammad Hashim, 1690-1761, was a religious scholar and prose writer. He wrote about 50 books in Persian and Sindhi. His books were included in the curriculum taught at Al-Azhar University, Cairo. और ये कितना आप कह सकते हैं अच्छी बात है, कितनी अप्रिशिएटिंग है, कितना इनकरेजिंग है कि उनकी बुक्स को अल-अज़हर यूनिवर्सिटी के करिकुलम में इंक्लूड किया गया. द बिगेस्ट सीट ऑफ इस्लामिक लर्निंग इन द वर्ल्ड. अजीजुल्लाह एंड शाह लतीफ़ वर हिज कंटेम्प्रेरीज, मतलब जो उसी दौर में लिखते थे. ही ट्रांसलेटेड द होली कुरान इनटू सिंधी. अच्छा, ये क्यों ट्रांसलेट करते थे? टू अंडरस्टैंड योर रिलीजन वेल. वी से दैट कुरान, या हम कहते हैं होली कुरान, इज अ कंप्लीट गाइडिंग बुक. So unless and until we understand its language, we won't be able to apply it in our lives. The period covering the end of the 17th and the beginning of the 18th century deserves to be called the golden age in the history of Sindhi literature. क्योंकि इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा development हुई. It had flourished a lot. Mirza Khalid Beg, a prominent Sindhi scholar, and he was born in 1855 and died in 1929, who lived in the British period. He wrote about 400 books covering a variety of subjects. Among the modern Sindhi writers, Sheikh Ayaz, Professor Karim Bakhsh, Nizamani, and Asadullah Bhutto are the most remarkable. Muhammad bin Qasim Literary Society is rendering good services to Sindhi language and literature by publishing valuable books on social sciences and literary themes, as well Sindhi renderings of the important books of other languages. ठीक है, as well as Sindhi renderings of the important books of other languages, यानी translation भी हो रही है उनकी, ठीक है, और publish भी कर रहे हैं वो. A number of institutions working under official patronage. Official patronage, students, means that it's under the government's control. Our government is supporting all this. Have done commendable service by preserving classical Sindhi literary assets in modern forms. Unless and until government plays a role, assets cannot be preserved. Dialects, Sindhi spoken in different parts of Rajasthan, Sindh, and Balochistan is identified with different names. Literary informal Sindhi standard is Sathi. Dialects spoken in the lower Sindh and Rajasthan are known as Lari, Kachi, Katiwari, and Thari. Similarly, Jogali, Gandavi, Fikri, Lasi, Kaichi, Lori, and Chini are the Sindhi dialects used in different parts of Balochistan. Other famous accents are Kohistani, Saraiki, and Bicholi. Okay, so this is it. Thank you, students.